ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ। ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਮਾਤਾ ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਪਿਤਾ ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਸਵਾਮੀ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰਾ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਸਖਾ ਗਿਆਨ ਪੰਜਨ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਬੰਦਿਪ ਸਹੋਦਰਾ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਦਾਤਾ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਉਪਦੇਸੈ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਮੰਤ ਨਿਰੋਧਰਾ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਸ਼ਾਂਤ ਸਤ ਬੁੱਧ ਮੂਰਤ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਪਾਰਸ ਪਰਸਪਰਾ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਤੀਰਤ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਸਰੋਵਰ, ਗੁਰ ਗਿਆਨ ਮਜਨ ਅਪਰੰਪਰਾ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਕਰਤਾ ਸਭ ਪਾਪ ਹਰਤਾ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਪਤਿਤ ਪਵਿੱਤ ਕਰਾ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਆਦ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਜੁਗ ਜੁਗ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਮੰਤ ਹਰ ਜਪ ਉਧਰਾ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਸੰਗਤ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਮੇਲ, ਕਰ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਹਮ ਮੂੜ ਪਾਪੀ ਜਿਤ ਲਗ ਤਰਾ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਪਾਰ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਨਾਨਕ ਹਰ ਨਮਸਕਰਾ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਸੰਗਤ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਮੇਲ, ਕਰ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਹਮ ਮੂੜ ਪਾਪੀ ਜਿਤ ਲਗ ਤਰਾ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਪਾਰ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ, ਗੁਰਦੇਵ ਨਾਨਕ ਹਰ ਨਮਸਕਰਾ। ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਆਓ ਰਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਓ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸੋ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਲੜੀਵਾਲ ਕਥਾ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਵੈਸੇ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ 3 ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਹੈਗੇ ਤਾਂ 3.5 ਸਾਲ ਹੋਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ। That's last year in May. 3 years ago in May we started the katha. So we're now near the end of Rehraas Sahib, the dohre that are left after the Chaupai Sahib. Benti hai, please do try and get your family and friends to come. I know there's a lot of people that come anyway, but jis katha te chal rahi hegi hai, I think in the UK there's not that many regular weekly kathas in English. So the people that live around London, try and get them to come, even if it is for 1 week or twice a week, once a week or once a month. Try and get them to come, new people, because you don't know what shabad of the Guru might hit that person. ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਇੰਝ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਬਾਣੀ ਦੀ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਭਾਵੇਂ 10 ਸਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਪਤਾ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਦੇ ਸੁਣੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਮੂੰਹ ਚੋਂ ਨਿਕਲ ਗਈ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸੁਣ ਲਿੱਤੀ, ਉਹਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਅਸਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ। We might know things for 10 years, we might be doing talks about them, but somebody who's come new to Gurdwara, they might never have heard that. So try and get people to come, because the katha does help. Last week we got to the bit where Maharaj says, Har har jan dui ek hai, bib bichar kach nahe, jalte upaj tarang, jo jal hi bikhe samahe. Maharaj says that the saint and Vaheguru, they're no different. Just like a wave comes out of the ocean and it goes back, Maharaj says it's actually the same thing, it just looks different. It looks different when you're seeing the wave, that is definitely a wave and it's separate from the big calm ocean. But in reality it's just pani. And Maharaj is telling us that those people that go to the Guru's way, they will understand this method of joining to Vaheguru, which is Jo Pani Sang Pani. Gur Kirpa Jai Narko Kini Teh Jugat Peshani Nanak Leen Payo Gobind Syo Jo Pani Sang Pani. It's a very awkward way, Sikhi, very awkward way. In that shabad, it's nice to hear Pani Sang Pani, and that sounds nice. Oh, isn't it nice? But at the beginning of that shabad, Maharaj starts off by saying, Sort Mahela Nova, Jo Nar Dukh Mein Dukh Nahi Mane, Sukh Saneho Ar Pੈ Nahi Jaake Kanchan Mati Mane. Maharaj is saying, don't think that it's so easy. It means to not even see dukh inside dukh. Very hard way. Then Maharaj starts with this dohira now that we're going to go through. And Maharaj says, Dohira Bhekh Dikhaae Jagat ko Logan ko bas keen Antakal kati katyo bas narak molin. This shabad comes up in Bachitra Natak Granth. It's the 6th section. And Maharaj, that's on Ang 58 of Dasam Granth Sahib. And Maharaj is in Bachitra Natak. So this is a story that comes after you hear Jab Sahib and Akal Ustad Sahib. Guru Gobind Singh Ji starts a Granth called Bachitra Natak, and they start talking about their story. Now, what does Bachitra mean? Bachitra means like amazing. Wah, dekh ke maja aaya. Yeah? And Natak is like a game. So the whole that whole story of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's life and talking about the past, they're saying, look at this amazing story. Huh? It doesn't mean that Guru Gobind Singh Ji is saying that this is. I was listening to some, reading some Shabads this week. Maharaj says that this is my roop, the Granth, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. This is my form, my very body, everything. But then they say, Dasam Granth Sahib is like my game. Meri khediya. This is my game for my Khalsa. So when Maharaj is talking about these things, obviously these things that Guruji is telling now, some of these things they haven't told in the last 9 incarnations as Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. They haven't said these things. But they're telling them now because they know that they are the last Guru. And what they write down is going to stay as the Guru's Vach. Right? So they're going to give more than the first 10 Gurus because they're going to give the whole concept and then they're going to write it all down and then they're going to leave it with us to work it out. So Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj tells us these things because they want us to kind of know the background to themselves. Like a father, in Sukhmani Sahib, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pasha says, Pita ka janam ke janas poot. They go, what can a child know about his father? Pita ka janam ke janas poot. How can a child know about the father's life? But here, our father, Tan Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, has written down from his life some sections for us so we can understand our Pita. And we can see what he was about, why he came here, what was his aim. So Maharaj says, Bhekh Dikhaae Jagat ko, logan ko baskeen antakal kati katyo bas narak molin. So in this section, this in Bachitra Natak, Guru Gobind Singh Ji in the 6th Pag has basically started talking about the previous people that were coming upon earth. This is the 56th Dohira, or from that 6th section of Bachitra Natak Granth. And what happens is that Guru Maharaj is basically faced, they're telling everybody what happened before them. This is the Jagraj Singh from Leeds, Vidyarthi Dandami Taksal. They did Katha of the Shabads that come before this a couple of years ago at Guru Amar Das Gurdwara. It was a Seek to Inspire Samagam, and they did Katha of these sloks. Because Guru Gobind Singh starts talking about what happened in Satyug, they start talking about Treta, Dwapar, and then they start talking about even Muhammad Sahib. And they say what happened to him, why he came here. And they say that he was given Raj over Arabia, but even then he didn't join people to God himself, he joined people to himself and God. So they then talk about why they were sent. So they go to the history of what was there before, and then they start talking about themselves. So, why is this important for a Sikh to know? Sikha वास्ते क्यों जरूरी है कि पता करिए कि गुरु साहब तो पहला कौन सी ते ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਪੂਰਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ ਧਰਤੀ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ. We have to work out what was lacking before, and then why was Guru Gobind Singh Ji sent, or why was Guru Nanak Dev Ji sent into this world. That's a very interesting bit to read. We haven't got the time to go through the whole Sakhi of that right now. Maybe Maharaj Kirpa Kari will go through Akal Ustad Sahib and Bachitra Natak one day. After they talk about the other people, then they go through why they were sent. And this is the bit we've many times talked from the stage here. Ki Maharaj says ki they were sent ki hum eh ka jagat mo aaye taram het gur tev pathaye jahan tahan tum taram bitharo dosh dokhin pakar pacharo. They were sent here to set up taram. This is that section. And then at 56 of the 6th part of that Bachitra Natak, then Guru Maharaj says this bit. What they're saying here, now normally, I've even seen many times on stages, people get up, right, on, like Gurdwara stages I'm talking about, not other stages, on Gurdwara stages, and they use this pankti about their political enemies. The different committees, they'll use this about their mate, not their mate, but their kind of guy who's standing against them. And they'll say, Bhekh Dikhaae Jagat ko, logan ko baskin. Bhekh Dikhaayo. Bhekh is a negative word for outside form. Why is it negative? It talks about your fakeness. So you show people an outside bhekh. From the outside you show one thing, Bhekh Dikhaayo Jagat ko. You show the whole world one outside form, logan ko baskin. Logan are the people of the world. Bas means to control them. So you now control the people of the world by showing this fake outside form. Palekha, kehlo ki pakhand. You're showing a pakhand from the outside, and then Maharaj says, Antakal kati katyo. Antakal. At the time of death, when it's your end, kati katyo. Antakal kati katyo. At the end, here in the end, Kal Kati Katyo. The Kati is a knife. And they say in the end, Vaheguru will be holding a knife. Anta Kal Kati Katyo. And he will chop you. Vaheguru with his knife will chop you. And Bas Narakamolin. Bas means like to live. Kisi nivas karna. So Bas Narakamolin. Narak is the word for hell. You will go to hell. Many times on this stage I've said that people have got a fake idea, some strange idea that there's no hell in Sikhi. They don't believe in heaven, they don't believe in hell. Where they don't believe in heaven or hell, how will we explain shabads like this? So we do have a temporary hell, and we have a long time permanent heaven. Maharaj says, if you spend your life in this world, faking it and hoping to make it, controlling people with your fakeness, then what will happen at the end? In the end, Akal Purakh with their sword will chop you. Antakal Kati Katyo Bas Narak Mori, and you will live in hell. Sasangaji, Guru Sahib is talking about the fake people that came before them and tried to be the Guru. I'm not talking about the different religions to say that they were fake. They were sent on their own religions on their day past. But many people were never told by God, Ki ja, go into the world and set up Dharam. They just decided, you know what, this Baba thing is quite easy. Put on a nice big chola, put on a chitti pug, get 5 or 6 people to follow you. Soon as you got a critical mass, other people will come along and think, oh, this guy must be right, look at, he's got a few other people. They start following you, and then all around you, more people will come join. And you know what people are like? If you've got a large crowd, what do they think? Well, they must be right. I've seen all these posters, some of the mosques outside the south, where they have these posters, 1.6 billion people. Ever wonder why? They try to say, look, we've got so many people, you should be thinking about it for yourself. It's like an argument. Poor Jagmeet Singh Bichara was in Shepherd's Bush and got accosted by this guy who was going on about last year, 800,000, 900,000 people converted to Islam. See, numbers don't really count, because Maharaj is saying it, Bhekh Dikhaae Jagat ko logan ko baskin. Yeah, you might have got people under your control, but it doesn't mean anything. Numbers don't mean anything. The fastest growing dharam, if you're going to say it's not a dharam, but a fastest growing belief system is atheism. In this country, more people turn to atheism than anything else. They don't turn to God, they turn to atheism. Because if you were to pick up, for example, not criticizing the dharam books, but if you pick up the Jewish Torah, which is now called the Old Testament, and you start reading it, Genesis, and you Google who wrote Genesis, they tell you no one knows. Pata hi nahi kehne likhi hai. You start reading it, it goes through the family history of so many people. You know what Guru Gobind Singh Ji is putting in this Bani? I'm going to go to the history of they're going to talk about the history of where they came from, where Guru Nanak Dev Ji came from. That goes in Dasam Granth Sahib, in Bachitra Natak Granth, and it's written by Dasam Pasha, the 10th Guru. If you look at their books, it starts off with, the Old Testament starts with first Adam and Eve, and then all the different people, Noah, and then Abraham, and all the different, it goes to the history of all the prophets, without saying what they said. Jehdi gal kehni si na, ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੱਸੀ. The message was left second. First, who they were and what they did. And Guru Maharaj starts off with Ik Oankar, Satnam, Karta Purkh, Nirpau, Nirvair, Akal, Murd Ajuni Sapang, Gur Prasad. They start with the main thing first. Jehdi gal karni si ki fir jap, pehla hukum jap. Kenu japiye? Adi sach juga adi sach hai, pi sach nanak hosi pi sach. And Japji Sahib afterwards. The first thing first, the message came first. There is not even a mahalla pehla at the beginning of that. They just want you to know the message. What should we do with our lives? Yes, the 10th Guru tells us where he comes from. But if you started reading the Old Testament or the New Testament, by the time you got to Jesus and Joseph, you've got a couple of questions. Who are these people? What do they do? Why should I believe in them? Mara says, don't worry about who am I? I'm going to tell you what to follow, the message. Then I'll tell you later on, in my 10th form, who I am really, where I come from. Yeah? Because the message is more important. Shabad Guru, Surtatun Chela. The Shabad is the Guru. So Satsangji Maharaj says that people in this world, they come in this world as fakes, they confuse people, they control people, they have power. In today's world, what would we call these people? Huh? They baithe ne in Amritsar, SCPC, all these people, they've all taken Amrit. All these people, yesterday they were Naujawan, his young 20-year-old Singh resigned. He walked into a press conference with Makkar, the head of the SCPC, and he threw his resignation in his face. Yeah? And he goes, I resign. He goes, you lot should resign as well. Sharam nahi aani tonu. And then they said to him, what's your name? He goes, my name, Ramandeep Singh. Mera piyo da na, Guru Gobind Singh. And he goes, tusi bhi sharam karo, why are you involved in this corrupt system? This is our father. And he's telling us there's many people in this world that will adopt the outside roop of a Sikh, and they will confuse you, and they will get us in control, and we will be upset with them. We're all upset about what's going on in India. We're all upset about what's going on in Punjab. These Jahidas, Makkar saying the Panch Pyare got no power. Badal saying that he's Amritari, and these people are literally sucking the blood out of our Panth. They're leeches. Worse than, you would say, Ki Antakal, Kati Kateo, Bas, Narak Molin. You know they're going there. Pata hai jana utthe hi unhone, Bas, Narak Molin. And they are the dokis of the Panth. And yet, Satsangji, maaf karna, if they came here, you know that people will be kowtowing to them. Just like the Chinese presidents come over here, one of the most oppressive regimes on the planet right now. And where is he sleeping? Buckingham Palace. The money makes the world go round. Power makes the world go round. Don't think that right now Dharam is what is controlling the world. Dharam is not working. This is why Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj has told us कि राज बिना नहीं धर्म चले हैं, धर्म बिना सब दले मले हैं. It's hard for us to get our dharam to work without Raj. We need Raj. Whether you think about Khalistan in Punjab, you think about Khalistan in India, there is one thing that is clear for our Panth. We need our own Raj. We need our own Jaga, which we control, where we are a sovereign nation that control our own destiny. Without doubt. No one can say this Panth can be successful in this world without having its own Tarti and its own Raj. That's why Guru Gobind Singh Ji told us, ki Raj karega Khalsa. It wasn't just Raj, Dillan te Raj karega. It's not Dil te Raj, it's Tarti te Raj. A place, sovereignty, where no one can tell us what to do, we can do what we like. On America, if it wants to kill Osama, it never asked permission from Pakistan. Don't tell me the American government said, please, Prime Minister of Pakistan, we're going to fly to your country, send in our helicopters, kill Osama at this location, only about a kilometer from your main military base and where your training takes place. Don't mind us, will you? No, he didn't. He went in and did what he wanted. Because a sovereign nation, they decide for themselves. And when we go and do tarle, when we do bentiya and these protests, and we'd ask the British government, please, tusi kuch Indian government nu kaho na, sade waste kuch keh do. Aur mitha mitha bol ke keh denge unhanu. They're not going to do anything for us. Because what do they say? They say, look, it's a sovereign nation. It's a sovereign nation. We can't tell them what to do. This is the rule of what sovereignty means is No one can tell you what to do. You decide for yourself what to do. So the Khalsa Panth must also have its own sovereign nation, where we can decide what we want to do without being told, oh, this is against the law, mate. Which law? Not Guru Gobind Singh Ji's law. So, Sasang Ji, maaf karna, these things have to be said. We must have our own Raj as well. But the way to that, we'll talk about that. One of the biggest problems to us having our own Raj is our own people. It's not the outside people, it's the people walking around like this. Bhekh Dikhaae Jagat ko, logan ko baskeen, antakal kati kateo, baas narak moleen. You got comrades dressed up as saints, Pagga Darya Kirpana, they don't believe in God. They don't believe in Kirpa. They don't believe in Naam. They don't believe in reincarnation. Where is that going to take us? They don't believe in Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. They cry about desecration of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, but they got no interest in Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. They got no dard for Granth. They only got dard for Punjabiyat. That's not going to get us through the dark ages. Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj is our Guru. One more thing. All these people that are running Punjab politics, we know they need to be taken out as well. That's definite. They can't be running our Panth. And they do run our Panth at the moment. Khair. Maharaj is promising us, fikr na karo, antakal kati katyo baas narak muri. In the end, Akal Purkh's knife will go straight inside them. Whether it's this kirpan on the Mahakal Swaroop Akal Purkh Khalsa Fauj, or it's an Akal Purkh themselves, but they're going to get what they deserve. Maharaj says then, Dohira tin be din ki kul bikhe pargate naan karaye, sab sikhan ko sukh de, jahat hai pay sahaye. This bit comes from Bachitra Natak in the 5th section. In the 5th section, which is on page 53 of Dasam Granth Sahib Ji, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj now starts to talk about obviously this is the 6th section we went through earlier, but now we go back a bit, the 5th section, and this is at the end of Guru Gobind Singh telling us the whole story of the Bedi clan. So I want to go through this because many people now claim, oh, this is not right, we shouldn't read this. Yeah, I'll explain what this is about, and it will take a little bit of time, so maaf karna. Just stay awake, stay with it. Theek hai na? There's a bit of family history. People are always saying, how did Guru Gobind Singh Ji and Guru Ram Das Ji Maharaj are related? This is even more complicated now. This family tree goes back a lot further. Maharaj starts talking about their family tree before even Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj and where it goes back from. Theek hai na? So, Maharaj talks about the Bedi clan. Basically, it's the ancestor of the Sikh Gurus. They ruled Punjab and they basically ruled that whole area. So if you might say, why did they come there? Well, the people, obviously God sent them there because of the specific confluence of two. One Dharam from here, Hinduism and Christianity, Buddhism, and here Islam, Christianity coming to India, clashes in Punjab. But also, the Guru's vansh, the Guru's ancestry came from this area as well. And Maharaj says that basically there's a solar dynasty, the Suraj Vansh, yeah, also called the Raghu Vansh. What this comes from is there was two kings, Raghu and Aj. They were great rulers, big rulers. And Aj, his empire went to Dasrath. Dasrath was a great archer. He was also a great archer. He had 3 wives. Some of you might be nodding your head right now, who was Dasrath? Because Dasrath then, his eldest son from those 3 wives was Ramji, Sri Ramchandra. Yeah? The famous person you know in India, who Bhai Gurdas Ji refers to as the Satguru of Treta Yug. He's Satguru of that. So, he's the first son. Then you've got Parat, then Lakshman, and then Shatrughan. Yeah? So, sorry, Parat. Now, Ramchandra, you all know, married Sita, right? Oh, clear about that, good. He had 2 sons. Now, the history of Sita, how he treated her, I'm not going to go into that. It's not good. Yeah? But Sita, anyway, she had 2 children. She went into the forest. She brought up 2 children, Love and Kush. These are the 2 children of Sita. Now, what happens, Guru Gobind Singh describes, is that Love and Kush both became kings. They founded cities in Punjab. Love founded Lahore. And Kush, he founded Kasur. Yeah? And these became very famous cities. Now, the Love and Kush, they ruled there for a long time. Their sons and grandsons became the rulers. And further on, one of the descendants of Kush from Kashur, he was called Kalket. Now Kalket, he was very strong. And on the other side, in Lahore, from Love, you've got Kal Rai. So he's got these people, Kal Rai. Now he had a lot of children, but he wasn't as strong as a person who was Kalket. So Kalket, who's from Kush's side, right? So I'll tell you, it's awkward, but we've got to remember this. He basically decides to attack his own cousin in Lahore. He attacks him and kicks him out. Right? In Hundaiya, look at Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pasha's own family. You've got his elder brother Priti Chand and his son Meherban trying to kill Guru Har Gobind Sahib Maharaj. So obviously it happens, isn't it? So their cousins, one fights and kicks, he ends up winning. Yeah, Kalket expels his Kal Rai from the city of Lahore. And this Kal Rai, because he's now been kicked out by his own cousin, he goes away to a place called Sanod, south of Delhi, marries the king's daughter there. He has a son called Sodhi Rai. Sodhi Rai becomes the Sodhi Vansh, which then later on becomes Guru Ram Das Ji Maharaj's family. Sodhi Vansh. Right? Now, this Sodhi Rai, he gets more and more powerful. Many sons. And he says, you know what? My dad's cousin's family, they kicked us out of our place in Lahore. We should go back. We should take Badla and get back our town. So they do. Yeah? In typical Punjabi fashion, you might say. Because they're all Punjabis, these guys. Right? Just bear in mind. So they go back, Badla len waste, and they do win. He takes his eldest son. This Sodhi Rai he's got two sons, Jagat Rai, Prithvi Rai. Makes Prithvi Rai the king, the younger one. Takes him and his oldest son Jagat Rai. They invade Lahore and they win. Love's family now has got Lahore back after a bloody battle. And Kush, his family, has fled away to Kanchi. Kanchi, as you might know, is one of the major places of Hindu learning. They get beaten up. Whoever survives goes to live in Kanchi. In Kanchi, which is near Benares, they start to say, you know what we should do? Let's start learning the Vedas and let's start teaching the Vedas. As they start to teach the Vedas, the Sodhis are now back in Lahore. As these lot go to Kanchi, what do they start doing there? They start becoming people that know the Vedas. From there they get known as the Vedis, i.e. the Bedis. The Bedis who are what? Guru Nanak Dev Ji's the Bedi family. So this is the family of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. Now the Vedis, they're living in Kanchi, they're doing their part. They did the bad thing, they invaded Lahore, took it off their cousin, then they got kicked out and they went to Kanchi. Now the Sodhis, they're in charge of the Lahore again, right? They're from Love's family. What happens next is that the people in Lahore, the Sodhi family, they hear that their cousins in Kanchi have become very educated in the Veds. And they say to them, why don't you come and show us what you know? Come and tell us what you know. They forgive them. They go, now that you become good people, you become Vidvans, come and do Katha to us of the Veds. So now the Vedis come to meet the Sodhis, right, in Lahore. As they come there, the king is there, and they start, the Vedi chief, he recites the three Veds and explains them. The first Ved is Samved, then the Yujur Ved, and the Rig Ved. Then the king is like in Anand, he's enjoying himself. But when he says the fourth Ved, the Atharvan Ved, at this point, the king is so much in joy and Anand, listening to all of this, Sodhi king, he just says, you know what, I give up my Raj. He doesn't want this Raj anymore. He gives it to the Vedis, he goes, you take it. Gives up the Raj and goes and lives in the forest, becomes Banvas now. He's become a renunciate, given up everything. Now the Vedis, they'd been kicked out before for Lahore, innit? Now they went and learned. Look at the benefit of learning Gyan. Look, they lost it. They couldn't fight it with the Kirpan. They got beaten. Now with their Gyan, they got it given for free anyway. You might just say, the benefit for us to listen to this Ved, this is the Uttam Ved, the highest Granth in whole of Kaljug, is right here in our house. What would we get if we learned this Ved? They got given what they wanted so badly, got kicked out. What would we get if we learn what is inside Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj? Just think about that. Then what happens next? The Sodhi, the Vedi chief, he's so happy for getting this Raj for free, right? As anybody would be. He says, you listened to 3 Veds and you were so happy. And the 4th one, you gave us a Raj. So what I'm going to do is when I come back in Kaljug, years later, when I come back in Kaljug, as Nanak, I will then rule for 3 Rajas. I will, in my 3rd incarnation, from the Vedi family, I will then give you the Sodhi family. In the 4th, I will give you Raj. I'll give this back to you. You gave it to me. I'll rule until the 3rd in Kaljug, and then I will give it back to you. And the Sodhi family can be back on the Takht. And this is what happens much later, isn't it? Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, Tin Bedin ki kul bikhe, Pargate Nanak Rai. He becomes a king. What kind of Raj did that Nanak have? Remember, when the Lahori Raj was taken from love, and they took it back, the Sodhi family is ruling there. But what kind of Raj did he have now? We talked a little bit earlier about Raj and how we have to have our Raj. Our Guru was a king as well. Nanak Raj Chalaya, Sach Kot Satani Neev De. Nanak started a kingdom, and he was the king of that kingdom. He set up his own city. What more do you need to be a king but to set up your own city? Kartarpur. Guru Maharaj ruled from there. So we have always been sovereign from Guru Nanak Dev Ji's time. They were meant to be kings, and they came as kings. Anyway, the point is both those families, they have squabbles amongst each other, but they lose the kingdom that they had, so they don't remain the king. But in the var that the Bedi has given, that he's going to come back and become the king, and then he's going to give that Raj in the 4th, that remains true. That happens anyway. So Guru Maharaj, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, they're not from the family of the Sodhis that were due to be in Lahore. They're from the Vedis that were from Kush. And Guru Ramdas Ji Maharaj is from the Sodhi family. So, obviously, as we've just described so far, all of these people then, in their genealogy, not in their spirituality, and not in their actual genealogy of the religion, but just in their genes, they are all coming from Ramchandra and before that. Right? So they're meant to be kings. Now Ramchandra wasn't what you might call nowadays a Hindu. He was actually a king and a warrior. Yeah? So they stem from warriors. And that's why later on Guru Gobind Singh Ji will say, yeah, Chhatri ko putho, Baman ko nah. Because even though people would think that if you come from the Vedi family, you're from the people that used to know the Vedas, therefore you must be from the Brahmin families. Why are you now going into and taking over land and becoming rulers? Maharaj says, nahin, Chhatri ko putho, Baman ko nah. I've come from Chhatri family. Kshatri family are the warrior. Their lineage is from the warrior side. They've been kings. So when people point at Guru Gobind, Hargobind Sahib Maharaj, and they said, why are you carrying a weapon? Why are you wearing this, go on a horse? Why are you wearing these kapde? Why are you riding like a king? You shouldn't be a king. You're supposed to be a fakir. Maharaj says, no, I am supposed to be a king as well. Because they've come from kings. So we are from kings as well. This is our genealogy. We are Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj's family. If Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj is a warrior family, if he's from a lineage of kings and rulers, then so are we. Sat Sri Akal. So, now you might say, what about Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj and Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj? Who were they? So just quickly clarify that as well. Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj's kul, and it says it in Bani as well, is Trehan. What comes up as Tehan as well sometimes. Yeah? So they are Trehan Kul, and that basically is from Lakshman, the other brother of Ramji. And also Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj is Palla. Their family Kul is Palla, and so that descends from Paatth, the other son. You know the one that the mother, the stepmother, she cheated, she got Ramchandra Ji kicked out, and Paatth became the king, is from him. Right, Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, their lineage comes from there. All Punjabi families, by the way. All these people lived in Punjab back in the day. Yeah. So, brother Ramchandra. So, the question here now, because we've got a little bit of time. When someone hears this, patak jande ne, dar jande ho. Waheguru, tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up with tilak on my matha and a dhoti around my legs and I'll be a Hindu then. That's how people start hearing this, they get scared. Our brothers who are in the Paatth, who'd hear these stories, they get very scared about these stories. They go, no, Sikhi to Nyara Dharam hai. Nyara Dharam to hai. But everybody's got a history, bro. Everybody's come into this world, not just from Asman to Digine. They've been sent here and they've got a history. Guru Gobind Singh Ji is telling them their history when they were up in the Sabat ring and they were as Dush Daman. So Guru Nanak Ji Maharaj had a history as well. If you think that just because it's a family doesn't mean that it's different history. Right? It's just their family where they've come from. Even the Bhagats, all the Gurus, Kabir Ji, everybody had a previous incarnation, previous before that. They've come here for a reason. They've come because this is the itihas. Now, even in Gurbani Paatth Darpan, which is the most important book for the whole Damdami Taksal Samprada, in Gurbani Paatth Darpan, what they start talking about, even Sant Gurbachan Sikh Khalsa Pindrawale, they give the itihas of the Panj Pyare as well. Who were they? And in their last life, who were they in their last life? So what you call the avatar of that person. They say that basically Bhai Taram Singh Ji is Bhagat Tanna Ji come back. Now you might say, well, hold on, Bhagat Tanna must have got a mukti. Some people, they must have got mukti. Of course they got mukti. They're in Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. But Maharaj says in Bani, Janam Maran Duhu mein nahi, Jan Parupakari aaye. ਭਾਵੇਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੁਕਤੀ ਤਾਂ ਮਿਲ ਗਈ ਪਰ ਉਹ ਜਨਮ ਮਰਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਉਹ ਪਰਉਪਕਾਰ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੰਜ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਚੋ ਕੋਈ ਆਮ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਸੀਗਾ ਹੈ the first five to get Amrit from Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj's hands, to have their head at Guru Gobind Maharaj to chop that head off, bring them back to life, just aam banda. They did nothing in their previous life. Of course they done something in their... We believe in reincarnation. We believe that what you do, you will reap. If you were a good person in your next life, obviously you will get good. Do you think that in your last life you were nobody? If you are a Sikh right now, in this world of Kaljug where things are so bad, the Panth is in so much trouble, and you're sitting right now learning Bani, do you think it happened magically? Of course not. So just imagine right now, if you can see your past, if you could talk to your super self, you know the one that knows everything? Imagine you could talk to your super self right now, and they could tell you where you've come from, what your itihas is, and what your destiny is, what you are here to achieve. Wouldn't you tell yourself, oh putu, Amritsar ke kuch kar pantha vaste? Do it now before you die and you waste this chance again. You've come here for a reason. You're a Sikh for a reason. This is the best time to be a Sikh right now. Loki rondene, oh, it's so tough, really hard time to be a Sikh right now. This is the best time to be a Sikh. Why is it the best time? Because when everything is dark, a little bit of light makes a big difference. Sare panth vich hanera haiga is vele. If you just shine a little bit of light right now, people will sing your praises. When it's nice and bright and the panth in chardi kalam, you go Khalsa Raj, then your little bit of light, no one will care. Uthe koi qadar nahi honi. Is waqt, jis vele sare paase hanera haiga na, is waqt tusi je chamkoge na, panth vaste, then you will be seen like, wow, look at this person done so much. Because it's the best time to be joining the Panth right now. It's the best time to shine. Maharaj says, but anyway, in the Gurbani Paatth Darpan, Sant Ji, Vade Mahapurush, they go through that Bhai Mokham Singh Ji is Namdev Ji's avatar, and Bhai Sahib Singh Ji is Bhagat Sain Ji's avatar. So these are not normal people. They've come upon this earth. They know that they're already mukt, but they've come to do something good for us. So going on now. So we're not Hindus. Just because they've got itihas doesn't mean we're Hindus, okay? We are a Nyara Panth. Tisar Mazhab Khalsa Upjo Pradhan. The Khalsa Panth is completely separate from what was there before. Not separate in the sense that it hasn't got history, but it is a new way started by God themselves, because the previous ways had failed. Okay? They just chose people that had done a lot of bhakti and asked Maharaj, let me do something for the world. They said, okay, we'll give you the chance to lead this new Panth. It's like you go join a bunch of companies, right? If there was, let's say, you were a good person, but a bunch of companies were failing. It's not, I'm making this up on the spot, so don't see this as like something I thought through here. Just imagine, a bunch of companies aren't working, but you were one of the best stars of a company that failed because of other people. Now, if the boss that owned all those companies decided, we know, we need to set up a new company, but without these other people inside it, But they see you as a shining star and they say, you there, I'm going to give you a job to set up a new company, but you run this company and it's going to be the best company upon this planet. What would you say? Thank you, Ji. What would you say? Kirpa kar do, tusi aap karoge ta hoega. This is what Guru Gobind Singh says later on. Paatth chale tab jagat mein, jab tum karo sahay. So, obviously, just because you might have worked in other companies doesn't then mean that you're now not the new boss and that you've got your own ideas to bring and you've been sent a mandate directly from Waheguru. And anyway, if somebody says, well, and Treta it was Ramji, you've come from Ramji's Bans and the family from there, so then we should become Hindus, you could flip it on a minute. In a Chardi Kala way, you could flip it on them and say, hold on, mate. If Ramji from Treta Jug, who is the avatar of this Jug? Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. If Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj is the avatar of this Jug, then why don't you lot flip and come into Sikhi? That would be the Chardi Kala way to look at it. Not a negative way to think, oh well, we should go back. No, we shouldn't go back, we should go progress. Progress to this Jug. Come and catch up with the times. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj is the avatar of this Jug. Kal Jug which avatar Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj ne, te je tusi hun mukti chaunde ho, te fir Guru Nanak Dev Ji nu apnao. Become a Sikh of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, ergo Dasan Paatshah di Jot, Tan Tan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. This is where you're going to find the Uttam Sach in Kal Jug. Also, just a little clarification, because people start thinking, well, this law means you must believe in caste, innit? No, it's got nothing to do with caste. This is called a Vans. Vans means your lineage, your family history. It's not to do with caste, it's just literally to do with your family, who your parents were and who they were before that, and the family that flowed down. Kul. Tin bedin ki kul bikhe, pargate nanak rai. Now, Maharaj says, Jin Gurmukh naam te aaya, aaye te parvan, nanak kul udhare apna dargah paave man. If you jap naam as a Guru Sikh right now, what will you do? You will save your kul. 7 generations up, 7 generations down, 7 across. Your family, your lineage, you will take it with you. So a kul is not part of caste, it's just a dynasty. Then Maharaj says next. Chaupai Tin eh kal mo dharam chalayo, sab sadhan ko raha batayo, jo ta ke marg meh aaye, te kabhu nahi paap santaye. This is following on from the previous dohra. So it's directly related to that. Maharaj says, Tin eh kal mo dharam chalayo. Who is Tin? Tin is Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. They're saying about Guru Nanak. They say, in Kal Jug, Tin eh kal mo dharam chalayo. In Kal Jug, this is the person, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, who is come to set up dharam. He's come to set up dharam and sab sadhan ko raha batayo. All the saintly people in this world, whatever dharam they were, he's given them the way, raha batayo. Raha means the way, batayo means to tell. He's told them the way to God, no matter what religion they were, he's told everybody. Isn't that what our Guru did? Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj got shabads to the Muslims, telling them how to get to God. They've got shabads to the sannyasis, the pandits, the yogis, everybody saying this is the way to God. Sab sadhan ko raha batayo. People don't understand our Guru. Most people that came before, they said, follow me or else you go to hell. Only our Guru came upon earth and said to people, listen, at this moment in time, you're so messed up, you need a bit of guidance. But you're never going to change straight away. I'll give you the things you need, the things you need to know, to get mukti even in your own dharam. Isn't that the kind of doctor that you really need? Imagine, there was doctors that said, well, before you can get treated by me, you've got to become my patient. You've got to renounce your doctor. Or a doctor that says, you know what, keep your doctor, it's fine. Let me give you the devai. You take this devai and listen to your doctor as well, you still get mukti. Who's going to be more successful? Jagat Jalanda Rakhale. Jagat Jalanda Rakhale apni kirpa tar jit dware ubre titte leho ubar. The world is burning, save it, Waheguru, whichever way it can be saved, save it that way. This is our Guru. Inne Dyalu, Jagat Guru. Sab sadhan ko raha batayo. People won't understand this out there. The Muslims, when we go street prachar, this point they use all the time. They say, if your Guru is so great, why does he tell people to follow him then? Why does he tell a Muslim to become a good Muslim? Why doesn't he say, follow me? Because they don't understand our Guru. Sab sadhan ko raah batayo. He got everybody to get to God. But even if they stay in their religion, he told them the way to get there. Then Maharaj says, Jota ke marg meh aaye, te kabhu nahi paap santaye. Now, although he told everybody the guidance, he still made his own way. Jota ke marg meh aaye. Those that came into his path. Whose path? Guru Nanak Dev Ji's path. What is that path? What is this path? We know at the end of Slok Varantevadik, Guru Maharaj explains that. What do they say? Jo to prem khelan ka chao, sir tal tali gali meri ao, it marg pair tarije, sir dije kaan na kije. They say, listen, if you want to play the game of love, step onto my path. Yes, he has a path. He does tell other people what to do, but he has his own Nyara path. Those that want to follow him, step onto his path, give your head to Guru Maharaj, follow his way. Maharaj says, Jo ta ke marg mein aaye. Those that play this game of love, what will happen to them? Te kabhu nahi paap santaye. They will never go near paap. Paap will never touch them. Sin will never touch them. Those that wake up every morning and do Simran, those that read Japji Sahib Maharaj before they even have some food, those that read Rehraas Sahib Maharaj, in the evening they read that before they go to sleep. In the evening before they go to sleep they read Kirtan Soila. Those people, Maharaj says, Paap will never even come near them. They'll burn. Whatever you build up in that day is already burnt by the time you go to sleep. This is the power of Gurbani. People have done many, many silly things in this life. I've done many, many silly things in my life. But if we read Bani, we're doing the highest thing you can do in Kaljug. In Kaljug, Gurbani is the highest gift. So we are taking the best medicine known to man. Gurbani. If you have that medicine, it will fix you no matter how bad and how messed up you are. This is the power of Gurbani. So, Maharaj says, follow him and you will never come into Paap. Then Maharaj says, in the next Pankti, number 6, is still related to the previous Shabad and what's going on right now with Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. And they say, Je je pant tavan ke pare, paap taap tene ke prabh hare, duk pook kabhu na santaye, jal kal ke beech na aaye. Maharaj says, Je je pant tavan ke pare. Those that step onto your path, pant means way. Those that get into your pant, those that step onto your path, Maharaj Guru Nanak Dev Ji, paap taap tene ke prabh hare. Then Akal Purakh themselves, Prabhu, will take away the paap and the taap of that person. What does paap mean? Sin. What does taap mean? The diseases. Even the diseases of Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. Maharaj says, if you step onto a Guru Nanak Dev Ji's path, then God himself will take away your paap and your taap. Dukh, Pukh, Kabhu na santaye. Sadness and hunger, Pukh, Kabhu na santaye. They will never come near you. Satsang, these things have been proven to be true. You know that? When the Mughals were trying to kill the Sikhs, when they had them in Lahore in the jail, and they were chopping 100 Sikhs' head every day. 100 Sikhan nu roj o shaheed karwa rahe sige. In that time, they walked into a jail, jithe qaid sige, and the Muslimans were saying, these things, they're so chardi kar, every day the 100 of them die, they don't even cry. He goes, you haven't seen anything yet. He walks them over to one of the jails and he gives a roti. The Sikhs have been hungry for so many days, they've had no food. He puts one roti inside. He gives it, the younger people, they pass it up to the old people. Ki tusi shaklo, tusi buzurg hai ho. The older people pass it back down to the young people. Ki tusi shaklo, tusi chote hai ho. We can survive. Sada mananda ki honda. He goes, his roti is going round and round the room and no one's eating it. Because they're not like, you know, Guru Gobind Singh, you also tested a Panth once. They said to the Panth, the Singhs asked Guru Maharaj, how can this Panth prosper? Guru Maharaj showed them something. They got a bunch of chawl, they got rice, they cooked it, and they served it to some deer. And the deer, they came around the rice, all in a circle, and they were nibbling, nicely nibbling up, and they ate up all the rice, and they're full. All the deer got a little bit. Then they said the same rice was brought out next day, and they got some dogs that were hungry for a couple of days. And they gave the dogs the food. You know what happened with the dogs? As one dog went for the rice, the other dog got angry and bit that dog. Then that dog turned around and bit that dog back. And they started fighting over who was going to get to eat the rice. And as they started fighting over the rice, they started rolling around in the mud. And as they started rolling around in the mud, with their blood and the mud, the rice was covered and it was ruined. It wasn't even edible. Kisi no kuch nahi milya. They're just fighting amongst themselves. If you look in our Paatth, one of the biggest problems, like I said earlier, was ourselves. We fight amongst ourselves before we even get out there. Before we even realize there's jobs to be done, we start arguing with each other. Some of the people that I've seen in my life that keep talking about Khalistan, you wouldn't want to live with them, let alone run a country with them in charge. One of the biggest problems we've got is ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਜਪਦੇ ਨੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੋਹਰੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ. The people that are really needed to be our leadership, we say ਨਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ, ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਲੁਕੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ, ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਦੂਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, because they've got everything, they know what's going on, that's why they don't want to get into this gandi siyasat. Chalo, Mara says then, Jal kaal ke beech na aaye. Those that step onto your path, Guru Nanak Ji Maharaj, sadness and hunger will not come near them, and Jal kaal ke beech na aaye. They will not come inside the jal. Jal means like the noose or the web, the trap of kaal, of death. They will get mukti. Kaal is not referring to Vaheguru, who is Mahakal, but referring to death itself. They will not die, they will get mukti. Jal kaal ke beech na aaye. Then Maharaj says, Kabhi baach dohira, Thad payo main jor kar, Bachan kahan sir nyaaye, Panth chale tab jagat mein, Jab tum karho sahaye. Now this Bachitra Natak is also from Bachitra Natak, this dohira. And this is in the 6th section on number 30 on page 57 of Dasam Granth Sahib. It's number 30 of that dohira. What this is, in the same 6th section that was earlier, when Guru Maharaj talking about Tin Bedan Ki Ul Bhekhe, later on, Maharaj says, now why is this come up there? Because this is a response to Guru Gobind Singh Ji hearing from Vaheguru. Akal Pur ne bachan kitta, te Guru Maharaj ne eh bachan wapas kitta. The bachan before this, it says Akal Purakh Bach. Akal Purakh de Vachan. Bachan. Guru Gobind says, this is what God said to me. Dekho, Sasang ji ek gal hegi hai ki Bani likhya ki jaisi mein aave khasam ki Bani, taisra kari gyan ve lalo. Ki Guru Maharaj keh rahe ne ki Bani aa rahi hai, Rab to main tanu suna raha. ਇਹ ਉਹ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ but ਹੁਣ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਆਪ ਲਿਖੇ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਨੇ ਕੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ. The words of God direct are written down in Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Bani. This is what God said to them, Akal Purakh Bach. Important thing to note here. Maharaj says, God said to me, मैं अपना पुत तोहे निवाजा. I have made you my son. मैं अपना पुत तोहे निवाजा. God is saying to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, I have made you my son. Then Panth prachur karbe kahu saja. Why have I made you this way? I've made you to go into this world and do Panth prachur. Prachur is prachar. To spread the Panth. What is a Panth? Not just a Khalsa Panth, the way. It's not a community, it's the way, the Khalsa way. There was a road in Gravesend, and they call it the Khalsa. This is the Khalsa way. The way of the Khalsa. Of Sant Sipahi, of being in Kaljug and being outside Kaljug. This way of Khalsa, Maharaj says, Panth Parchur, Akal Purakh said to them, Panth Parchur karbe ko saja, Jahi taha teh taram chalaye, Kabud karan ko te lok hataye. They say, Jahi taha teh taram chalaye. Wherever you are, run taram, set up justice and righteousness. God is saying these words to Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, and they say, Kubud karante lokhatai. People that are doing wrong, kubud, they're doing bad things, using the wrong brain, they say, stop them doing wrong things. People are doing very wrong things. Even in our Panth, they're doing very wrong things. They either go and find some kind of person who says, I'm a living Guru, Manu Pujlo. They're confused. They don't understand about Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. They don't understand about Guru Khalsa Panth. Then, all these idol worshippers in the Sikh Panth, bowing down to pictures, bowing down to idols, having Ganesh Ji in the house and then saying, Tum ho sab rajan ke raja, to Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. When Bhai Gurdas Ji is saying that there is no way you can do both things. They are saying, if you want to be a Sikh, Gur Sikh hoye aan dev sev tev gah sahaj jam dand tig jeevan sansar hai. Bhai Gurdasi says, as a Gur Sikh hoye aan dev sev tev gah. If you start worshipping other Devi Devte as a Gur Sikh, they say sahaj jam dand. You will get beatings from Jamdut. You can't fool the Guru. Ek paase keh rahe ho ki sab te vad samrat Gurdev, sab sukh pai tiski sev. On the other end, you turn around and say, Maharaj, you know what, I don't mind. Do you mind if I go here and there as well? No. You got to pick a Guru. If you want this Guru, you got to follow this Guru. And this Guru says, Kuch pahan mein Parameshwar nahi. There is no God in the stone. So, Guruji is told by God, Akal Purakh Bach, I've made you my son to go into this world and do prachar of this way. Wherever you are, set up righteousness and justice and stop people from doing the wrong thing, from bad things. Now, Satsang, if that is a bachan from God to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, what is their response? This is their response. Kabhi baach dohira, thad payo main jor kar, bachan kahan sir nyaaye, panth chale tab jagat mein, jab tum karho sahaye. Look at that. Look at what our Guru responds with. They say, thad payo. Thad is मैं खड़ा हो गया थोड़े सामने मोरे होके ना. Thad payo मैं जोर कर. Jor here, kar means your hands. Jor means to join together. Jor is not that jor, it's jod ke. And your hands are your kar. Maharaj says, thad payo मैं जोर कर. मैं अपने हाथ जोड़ के खड़ा हो गया थोड़े सामने. बचन कहा सिर न्याय. I said something, मेरे बचन हैगे, but मैं सिर नीवा करके बोलिया. Maharaj said, I stood up in front of you with my hands formed. I put my head down and I said these words. What did Guru Gobind Singh Ji stand in front of? What do we do when we stand like this? When we stand like this in front of our Guru, thad payo main jor kar, bachan kahan sir nyay. What are we doing? Ardas. This is how we do ardas. When someone says, why do we stand up and we do this? This is why we stand up, because Guru Gobind Singh Ji did the same thing to God. In front of a Kalapur, they stood with their hands folded, head down, and they said these words, Panth chale tab jagat mein jab tum karho sahaye. They say, Vaheguru, this Panth will work in this world. Chalega. People will walk upon this Panth when? When you yourself come and help me. Mere to aap nahi hona, tusi aap sahay hovoge, ta hovega. Akal Purakh sahay. Sat Sri Akal. Fateh! Fateh! Khalsa! Khalsa! This is how we turn to our Guru. The people nowadays, they will say, haan, si aap kar leta. They want thapi themselves. They want to say, yeah, right, that's right. You give me the job, I'll go and do it. They don't turn around and say to their Guru, Maharaj, tusi aap kirpa karo, ta hovega. How many of our meetings start with Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj Hukamnama? How many of our things in this world start with Guru Sahib's own bachan? When do we say to our Guru Maharaj, this will only happen if you come and help us? Inni beadbi hondi hai Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj Ji in this country. There is so many Swarups of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj in this country. How much badi do we do of our Guru here? How can we even stand in front of him and say, Maharaj, aap kirpa karo? We're not even doing our job as a Sikh to take care of our Guru. There's no point crying about what's going on in India. Itthe inni beadbi hondi hegi hai. Gurudwaras with over 100 Swarups of Maharaj. Satsang Ji, it's a real problem. And yet we turn to our Guru and say, Maharaj, Khalistan de do. He ain't going to give it to you. He doesn't think we're worthy. When he wants to give it to us, he will give it to us. But we're not worthy yet. Maaf karna Satsang Ji, look at us nowadays. Could we trust this Panth right now? We can't even run a Gurdwara properly. There's not even many Gurdwara in this world that are run properly. We want to run a whole country. Kuch karke to dikha do pehla duniya. Most people have lost all faith in us. Most of the Naujawan in this world that are Sikh family khaun wale, most of them, they don't believe in Sikhi. They don't follow Sikhi. Why? Because they look at the people at the front running our communities, running our Gurdwara, and they think, I don't want to be like them. They say, Baksdo, I don't want to be like these people. So they stay away. We've got a long way to go in just building Panthic strength. Koi kisi ko raj na de hain, jo le hain, so nij bal se le hain. Build up your own strength, become strong, and you will get the Raj. It will happen. Khalsa will have its own Raj, but not until we make ourselves strong and trustworthy, that people can look at us and say, wow, these guys are amazing. What does Mala says? Raj karega Khalsa, Aki rahe na koi. What does Aki mean? Opposed. No one will be opposed to our Raj. The Raj will be so powerful, people will say, Tusi Jarur Raj karna, please. Don't let anybody else Raj, Tusi Raj karna. Nobody trusts us so much nowadays. No one trusts us. We have to build up that understanding in the people. Why should the Khalsa Raj? And in our own self, why should we Raj? We've been given the mandate by our Guru. We don't need people to tell us that, you are great, you should Raj. We know we should Raj. But the people in the world should at least see us that we are actually living up to our Guru's bachan. Otherwise, Maharaj says, Bhekh Dikhaae Jagat ko, logan ko baskeen, antakal ka ti katyo, baas narak muni. We come back to the beginning, which is, let's not us be fakers. Let's ourselves be real and follow Bani. Then the people will follow as well. Let us not be fake. Ek gal main benti karanga, don't be a faker. Don't be a Maharaj Guru Gobind Singh Guruji in their bachans from Nanded, the 52 hukams, they say, Pekhi da Sikh nahi banna. Don't be a fake Sikh, be a real Sikh. If you're going to follow it, try and follow it properly. I know it's hard, it's not easy. He went with me to a radio interview. Yeah? He's kept the dadi, kept his kesh. I thought, Badia, met him earlier on this. In just 1 year, I've got into Sikhi in January. He's kept his case, everything already. I saw him, I said, oh, what's that? You were wearing a jacket earlier. Took his jacket off, I saw he's wearing a kirpan. I said, wearing kirpan already? He goes, I'm trying, man. I want to follow it the best I can. I said, wow. Singh ne dekho gal ki mein soni kehti. Kehta, I want to follow it the best I can. Sasanji, we should all try and follow Sikhi the best we can. And then Maharaj says, this, like I said to you, Maharaj says, that Guru Gobind Singh Ji says to Akal Purakh, this Panth will only work in this world, this way will only happen if you yourself come and help. Going back to what we talked about at the beginning of Benti Chaupai, the point of the Benti is to turn to Vaheguru and let that Akal Purakh's jor come through us. Let Akal Purakh follow through with what we need to do. We take one step, let him take the 100. Don't think that if you do one little thing and there's so many things happen that it was because of you. No. You took the upala of doing one thing, the 100 things that happen after that, it's Akal Purakh di marzi, kirpa hui radi. They did it. So always thank Vaheguru for everything that is happening in this world. Don't say I done anything. Don't ask for your name to be in any ardas. Don't ask for your name to be in any plaque. Don't ask for your name to be in anywhere. Always say these words, Maharaj, Thard payo main jor kar, bachan kahan sir nyay, panth chale, tab jagat mein jab, when tum kar ho sahai. Everything will happen when you want it to happen. And if we make him happy with us, he will give us everything he's waiting to give us already. So Satsang, we're going to finish off there. In the next one, we're going to go through the rest of the Rehraas Sahib. As I said, we'll talk about Guru Tegh Bahadurji next time as well, because that Dohra, Thikar Po, Dalisir, Papur Kiya, Peyan, Tegh Bahadur Sikriya, Karina Kinhu Aan. Tegh Bahadur ke chalat payo jagat ko sok, hai, sab jag payo, jai, surlok. That's coming up next week. So, in Binte Pravan Karniya, we'll do a bit of Simran. 10 more minutes, so we'll do a bit of Simran, huh? Let's try and remember our Shahidi of our Guru, the Shahidi of our Panth that have happened recently, and remember that the way that people are going to survive, how we're going to survive, is if we go back to our Guru's way. What is our Guru's way? Maharaj says, if you want my help, I'll give you all my help. Jab lag Khalsa rahe ne aara, tab lag tej diyu main sara. Jab e gaye bipran ki reet, main na karu inki prateet. He will not help us if we go the way of the world. We have to stay distinct. He is a distinct way. He is distinct. He is Akal Purakh, their own form upon earth. But they have a history. And it's good to know it as well. So आओ सबने सिमरन करना है, सारे ने बोलना है, कोई रस्ता मांझी ना रहे. आखो वाहिगुरु 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 ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ